Would you pick them over Team USA?
I wouldn't.
If we have all these names,
Yeah.
all these players and presence.
Yeah. If all of them
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't, because I believe that what Coach Kerr chose for the center position fits the FIBA basketball very well, with Jaren Jackson Jr., Kessler, and Bobby Portis can play as a 4 and as a 5 as well. I do believe they have good wing players like Brandon Ingram. Anthony Edwards can be a beast in this format. Of course, Jamal Murray is a better point guard than Jalen Brunson, even though Jalen had an amazing year.
Canada, I think, has the better backcourt.
Yeah.
Probably. If Shai Gilgeous-Alexander
And Jamal Murray plays.
Jalen, let's say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander matches Anthony Edwards and Jamal Murray, Jalen Brunson, probably you're picking the Canadians. But in other positions, I think that Team USA has more offensive potential, and maybe Canada more defensive potential with Dort, Brooks, and some other players.
I just like how the Team USA this year chose, they don't have the biggest stars, the big names, the NBA All-Stars, some at least, some of them. But I just love how all of these players that are selected, their best skills transfer very well to the FIBA game. In before maybe sometimes we have seen the biggest names, the biggest stars come, and then it's not like they are really, how to say, their game fits so well.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
what I like about their roster, I mean, it's obviously not Team B, Team C, Team D, or not maybe even Team E in terms of star power. But it's a very flexible roster. Coach Kerr can play small lineups, big lineups. He has a lot of options, and he can use all 12 guys, obviously. So I think that people are a little bit underrating Team USA, if that sounds normal. Like, they are still the favorites according to all the bookmakers and everybody, but people are thinking they're very vulnerable. They're remembering what happened in the last World Cup with a lot of young players. But I think they have a good roster to be successful in a FIBA competition. But Canada, it's still one of those what-if teams. And maybe this is the year when we will see these guys and they do something big.
That's probably my only concern about this team, is how young all these guys are. And maybe they're missing, that, let's say, true leader.
Yeah.
I know, these are
like
the names
one
veteran player, one veteran leader.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Even though most of these guys are leaders in their teams, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges now in Brooklyn. So you kind of have guys, but just a little bit older guys who know, who maybe have played in the FIBA tournaments for a couple of times.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, this is our bonus Q&A episode, which is exclusively available for BN Plus members. Visit basketnews.com/plus. Visit our community and join our community. And watch the entire episode, which is again available. The entire episode is available only for BN Plus members. I'm glad to have Augustas on my left and Rytis. Finally, he's back. I'm having a podcast with Eric McCollum and Kevin Punter, and in comment section, there are at least 2 or 3 guys. Hey, we want Rytis back. What the hell?
That doesn't sound right, man.
Yeah, exactly. But we are really glad to have you here.
I understand why is that. Like, Rytis speaks straight facts,
Yeah.
Kevin and Eric.
No filters, no
Kevin
bullshit.
and Eric, you have players, friends, you have coaches that you might play one day, so you can't be really, that honest as Rytis sometimes are.
But these guys...
they are amazing. They're amazing.
Unless conversation goes about Mike James. There are no bad takes about Mike James.
They're one of the best American scorers we have in Europe right now, so obviously their insights are much more valuable than mine, but I do appreciate some love being shown towards us, towards our original crew, let's say. And I'm very glad to be here once again.
Yeah, and we have,
after a while,
people want to hear your takes. All of our takes, and usually it's only BN Plus members that are making questions for us, but this time we also received a lot of public questions. So let's start with Alistair Wood. I'm sure it will be covered extensively down the line, but at this point of time, where do you see Panathinaikos finishing this season as a complete neutral? I'm fascinated to see how this team will gel as a unit, because as to me right now, it feels like an expensive group of individuals. Also, just me personally, I want to hear your takes about Kostas Sloukas transfer bomb and all of their off-season work that they're doing so far.
How did you feel when you heard Sloukas is getting like 3 million for 3 seasons?
I was shocked, honestly, and not only
Everyone was probably.
How shocked? I mean, give us a picture of situation where Rytis is shocked.
I don't
because
know.
It feels like it's really hard to shock Rytis, right?
I'm not saying I dropped my phone or
Dropped your beer, no way.
or yeah, nothing like that. But I was genuinely surprised, and it's just not about the money. It's just the fact he signed for the biggest rivals, and to me, it seems like that's sort of a revenge. Because like probably he had disagreements with maybe Coach Bartzokas and the Olympiakos front office.
Yeah, it feels like that mainly with
because
Bartzokas, not the front
probably
office.
it's Bartzokas, and of course Sloukas knows what he's doing. He knows that he's signing for Pau. He could go to Fenerbahce or some other teams, and he chose Panathinaikos. Probably it was the best offer he had on the table in terms of money, but still, I mean.
It wasn't only money.
It wasn't only
I had
money.
the same idea.
It was something personal, in my opinion. But yeah, it's probably the biggest move we're gonna see this summer, because even if Mirotic moves to Milan or somewhere else, it's not as big as this signing just because of the rivalry.
Even if he goes to Real Madrid, you cannot compare.
No,
nothing.
I mean Mirotic played for Real Madrid, and he played for Barca. I mean, this Spanish El Clasico was not as heated as let's say the Greek derby or the Belgrade derby. So switching sides is huge, and it's the biggest switch since Panoulis. Because when guys like, let's say, Papapetru switch, it's not such a big deal. They're not superstar players. Of course, fans hate it, but you don't see them in the same picture as Spanoulis or Sloukas.
Even if Kevin Punter signed with Red Star, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean,
that would be close. That would be really close, because he's now the captain of the team and everything.
Yeah.
I think that
but
would
still,
be
Sloukas
on a
has
similar
this still
level.
shocking advantage over Punter.
Like,
even in that case,
imagine Matthias Lesor after all this going to the stands things. I mean, Kevin Punter was close every time.
But the case is that they already played there as well in Red Star.
But they didn't
Both of
have
these
the
guys.
reputation they have now.
True.
Yeah?
True.
And you know,
I mean,
there are a lot of
doesn't matter.
examples of, let's say, Partizan players moving to Panathinaikos and Zvezda players moving to Olympiakos. It's kind of a usual thing. So let's say Lesor going from Partizan to Panathinaikos doesn't hurt the Partizan fan base. He just took what he had on the table.
Plus, Sloukas thing, the whole event is happening in Athens. Basically, if you move from Belgrade to another team, it's the same city as well. Madrid and Barcelona, it's still a little bit further away, and
they are not basketball clubs. Let's be real. I mean, when Luis Figo moves from Barcelona to Real Madrid, then it's huge. But when some Spanish players or Adam Hanga makes the move or Nicolas Laprovitola makes the move, let's be real. It's not so huge. Yeah.
However, one thing I don't understand is why people are so concentrated on this money thing. Why I saw so many Twitter reactions saying that he's overpaid, he will be 36. But first of all, why you care so much about money that an owner spends? Like, this is not a team, where the people are putting money in. This is
not public money, right?
Not public money. This is an owner putting his own money to sign a player, probably one of the best available. He's not getting this Kostas Sloukas for the same money. If he offers the same money as Fener, for example, I doubt Sloukas chooses it, even though he wants the revenge quite, obviously. I think it's like, I want to go to Pau and I want to show Bartzokas that I was right, that you can play me more, that I can be the number one option, and that maybe, there was some disagreements that he wants to show that Sloukas was more right about, So
and it's not like that this move will have any impact on like salary cap or like will make some restrictions on the other follow-up moves that Panathinaikos is going to make. It's not like that now they have to bring players from the domestic league. So I see your point,
It just seems they're putting some serious money this season.
And exactly, like EuroLeague is putting money on the line. It's like all the best teams, all the previous champions put money on the table. Like how much Real Madrid spends for this roster, for 25-player roster that they have this last season.
And there's no other way to compete.
There is no other way to compete. If you want to win, you have to spend money. How many champions there were in the last 20 years that didn't spend let's say, that weren't top 5 in spending in the salaries?
Yeah.
It's a normal thing to do. They didn't spend for the last 5 years, basically way less money. They were signing players from Champions League, from Euro Cup. It didn't work. They were probably
changing coaches
in the bottom of the standings. Now you spend money and people are saying he's overpaid. Power fans are delusional to be happy about this. I don't understand this.
It might hurt them, let's say, in the final year of the contract when he's 36. He might decline. Who knows? It could happen.
We might feel about that contract like we now feel about Teodosic and Bellinelli getting 1.6. But if Panathinaikos will stay on the top as one of the richest clubs in the EuroLeague, nobody gonna care about that situation and about that contract.
But it's kind of hard to answer the initial question, actually, because the roster is still not completed. Other teams are still in the works. So it's hard to say, but they will be, first of all, a playoff team. Secondly, they should be Final Four contenders. And what I imagine, they probably will be the best pick and roll running team in the EuroLeague next season. Not only because of the guards they are signing, but also Matthias Lesor rolling to the rim. And
one of the best in Europe.
We know that Coach Ataman gives a lot of freedom to his point guards and allows them to create. And Sloukas, that's all he wants. So Ataman at the moment is showing again his GM skills. And of course, when the season starts, he will start coaching. So so far, I think they are investing money in all the right places. But you also need role players. You need guys that can defend, do all the dirty work. So I'm still waiting to see how they will complete this roster. Yeah. But at the moment, I'm kind of excited about what I see, what I'm seeing.
I love the additions, of Papapetru and Mitoglou. I think they're going to be the backup 3 and 4 for Pau. I think they still need. I would love to see Bonzi Carlson type of player at the 3rd position. I think, starting 3 and 4 are missing, and another guard probably. They need shooters right now. You have a pick and roll rolling big. You have 2 great scorers and creators in the pick and roll.
Yeah.
I think what you miss now, you miss some shooting and defending, because Sloukas, that's why a lot of people said he was, overpaid, because he's a liability on defense. He is targeted.
There are a lot of liabilities in defense in EuroLeague, so...
Yeah, it's
about not an issue.
Like it's not that he doesn't have energy. He is yes, he was targeted by Itoudis in the series and during the season. He was the weak link Olympiacos, but that's why you have Thomas Walkup next to him. You had Shaquille McKissick next to him.
Yeah,
Jerian Grant can defend very well. He's a nice fit there. I want to see another guy at the 3 position who can defend and play off the ball.
Yeah,
then the big picture would be complete.
To me,
it's interesting. Some shooters.
To me, it's interesting that Ataman is not luring in any of his FS guys. Like some of the guys, he's been there.
Everyone is already under contract, I think.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Micic was under the contract, and
I'm not
Elijah
talking about
Bryant.
Micic level caliber players.
There were these rumors about Bobois,
guys like
I think Elijah Bryant.
So
they finally decided to stay in FS.
Okay.
And both decided to extend for 2 more years.
Yeah. But still, I was really fascinated, particularly about Sloukas and Mitoglou signings, because for me, both of these signings kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, speaking about Sloukas, it was Fenerbahce, it was option to stay in Olympiacos. I don't remember now whichever team was likely to get him, but there were Partizan as well. And they came out of nowhere in a point guard market, which is not that sexy. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that only Žalgiris and maybe Maccabi, they didn't look for a starting 5 point guard caliber of player. So a lot of teams were ready.
Monaco, maybe? Or is it not sure yet?
Monaco, I mean, Yeah, probably Monaco. Although from what I understood, they also were monitoring the market. They didn't necessarily did the moves as some of the other teams as well, like Fenerbahce currently. But a lot of teams were exploring the market. A lot of teams were ready to throw a lot of money, crazy money. Even Darius Thompson, he's getting around 2 million euros per season from his new contract, which I get it. I mean, Darius Thompson, I like him as a player a lot, but 2 million euros is also, a big contract.
I didn't have the opportunity to say anything about this signing, but to me, it's like the best possible replacement for Vasa Micic.
True.
The best you can get at the moment. So if it's 2 million euros, fine. I mean, you had to beat some competition to sign him, so you probably had to add like an extra 200K or something like that. But I believe it's going to be a huge success for FS signing Darius Thompson.
Exactly. In this market, you have to throw a lot of money. And if we exclude Sloukas, I mean, you remember this, I think it was a Q&A episode. So we were like, what's the best point guard for Panathinaikos? And August was like, so you cannot sign Sloukas, right? Yeah, of course. Yeah. It looked obvious thing. So
there was even this reel on Instagram that we made, and then it was like some people sent to me in the last 2 days, and the first thing I say, so I can't have Kostas Sloukas, right? And then I'm like, yeah, probably. I signed Kevin Punter,
Sloukas in a power jersey was used as a Halloween picture, right?
Exactly. A year ago, and it for sure made the Olympiacos fans mad. But anyway, this came out of nowhere. Then there was this Dinos Mitoglou situation. He got cleared out to play for the next season, from the beginning of the next season, in a power forward stretch 4 market where if you exclude Vezenkov and Mirotic, there's a huge gap. Huge gap in this position. And again, a lot of teams are throwing a lot of money, crazy money. This market got really strange this summer. And they're bringing Dinos Mitoglou. I get it. He didn't play for how many, like 16, 18 months or something. But the thing is that he wasn't injured. I mean, he had his punishment. He was patient with that punishment, and he's coming back. Of course, it will take some time for him, but we're talking about 2 steals in the market, and we're talking about 2 local players, which is also super important for a team like Panathinaikos.
Pau will have what they haven't had in years, a strong Greek core.
Man, if you put name by name, they basically replaced Bohoridis with Sloukas. They placed potentially, I'm not sure if Calathes brothers are staying, but let's say, both Calathes brothers can cover a few positions, but you get Papapetru. You had Mansoukas, who had some nice stretches, but now you have Mitoglou with this potential. And okay, you can argue that Papagiannis is better than Kostas Antetokounmpo, but still, I mean, that's a huge upgrade, not just to become a title, Final Four, playoff contender, but also to improve your chances in the Greek league significantly, especially weakening Olympiacos by taking Sloukas and watching them, losing Vezenkov. That's huge. These 2 moves for me, they were like, wow.
What the wildest thing to me about this EuroLeague market is that, so this was just a small part from our full Q&A episode. If you want to see the full episode, please subscribe to BM Plus and you will get a lot of exclusive content.